Listen, this week, Sander, we've decided to end our news coverage with a brand new segment. Because while Republicans, especially the MAGA brand that are trying to tear down our democracy, are trying to project strength, the reality is this week looked very different for them. And so we're going to talk about the MAGA losses of the week. The first is that CPAC delivered one of the most on-the-nose moments I think you'll see in the news this week. Mike Lindell, one of Donald Trump's loudest allies, especially when it came to stealing an election, was literally served with legal papers live on the air.
Into our country, most of them break a law within the first 3 months. Most of them, we're on TV here, please. We're on TV, please. We're on TV, please. Okay, we're on TV, please. We're on TV, please. Okay, we're on TV, please.
What are you serving him with?
We're on TV, please. We're on TV, please.
What are you serving him with?
I'm not accepting it.
What are you trying to serve him, ma'am?
We're on TV, please.
Yes.
We're on TV, please. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Xander, I think someone needs to let him know that when you throw the papers, that actually doesn't make the lawsuit go away. Yeah, it doesn't make it go away.
Poor strategy. I tried to do that once with a parking ticket. It also didn't work.
Nope, they're still going to come at you for that one. Well, the next one we have is that it's clear that there's some cracks forming where MAGA Republicans least want to see them, and that's in Florida, where GOP sheriffs are now publicly pushing back on their own party's immigration crackdown. You heard that right, not Democratic sheriffs, Republican law enforcement, saying that the immigration policies are too broad and sweeping up people who, get this, aren't even criminals and who are, in their words, quote, "we're hurting people who are not the target." Wow. That's not messaging spin, folks. That's the people enforcing the policies saying it's going too far. Republicans enforcing those policies. So anyway, that's a noteworthy one. But finally today, we have a subsegment of this segment that we think is going to become a regular, and we're glad you stuck around for it, because today we're going to present our inaugural Donald J. Trump Soulmate Award. S-O-L-E, Soulmate Award. Why? Why do we spell it that way? Well, you may have seen this month news stories about how Donald Trump regularly hands out his favorite shoes, a company called Florsheim out of Chicago. He hands out black leathered Oxford shoes to the people willing to abandon their principles and stay in his good graces. And often, according to news reports, the president guesses the size of their shoe. He guesses, which means they receive a shoe from the president that they feel pressure to wear, and it's the wrong fit. Yet cabinet members like Marco Rubio have reportedly been spotted walking around the United States Capitol in oversized shoes anyway. Shoes that people speculate are indeed the ones that Donald Trump has given him, coerced him and other cabinet members and officials to wear. Apparently, they will do anything to please the president. And here at Defiance.org, we think that deserves recognition. So the Soulmate Award that we've come up with goes to the officials and legislators and public figures who have most completely surrendered their oaths or their souls or both to become Donald Trump's most devoted followers. Because if the shoe fits, as they say, you wear it. And if it doesn't, well, you wear it anyway. That's what they do in Donald Trump's Washington. So this week, our inaugural Donald J. Trump Soulmate Award goes to someone who has been willing to say what the president wants, even if he doesn't always believe it. Someone who talks tough about Trump when Trump is out of power, makes snarky comments about him off camera, but when the cameras are rolling is clearly auditioning for a pair of those shoes that Donald Trump famously hands out to his loyalists. This week, the Soulmate Award goes to CNN's Scott Jennings. A man I've sat next to at CNN, a man who, when the cameras go off, will tell you what he thinks about Donald Trump, will make a joke at the president's expense, will agree about an egregious policy or an off-the-rails briefing. But when they come back on, a completely different man. Scott Jennings, the shoes, my friend, are in the mail. Xander, that's our award for this week. I don't know if you have anyone that you desperately want to get a pair of those shoes, but we are indeed going to be sending those to the award winners. So I believe that the pair in the mail for Scott Jennings is a size 6 Florsheim Oxford that will be showing up for him at CNN. We sent that to his office. We hope they will find him and give him those shoes. I know he wants them. And if the president hasn't given him a pair, damn it, Xander, he's earned it.
Hey, also, Marco, you idiot, you can buy your own pair in your size. You don't have to
wear the floppy clown shoes.
You can pretend you're wearing his shoes and buy your own shoes in your own size. Don't you have a fucking assistant? You're the Secretary of State. Have him go run down and get a pair in your size, you moron.
We joke about this stuff, but this is something that, Xander, you and I have just marveled the day this story dropped, because you really could not have fictionalized a more absurd story to symbolize the cravenness and the unyielding devotion that people have to following Donald Trump right off a cliff. They'll just do anything in Trump's Washington. And, you were the one that said, I think you were the one that pointed out to me, hey, look, Stalin's tunic was something that became popular. Mao had the Mao suit that still sold today. And, everyone wore these.
I like the Saddam stash that everyone
the Saddam stash
had for a little while.
In those autocracies, the people wore the style the leader wanted them to, because they were afraid either for their lives or their jobs. And the same thing is happening in America, but in the stupidest form. It's not even a Mao suit or a Stalin tunic or a cool Saddam stash. Yeah. Donald Trump's got a stupid pair of shoes that he really likes, and he wants all of his people to wear them. And there was this amazing quote. If people read our article about it, we linked to it this morning on defiance.news, but there was this amazing quote, and I think the Wall Street Journal, that staff are literally afraid not to wear them. They're afraid not to wear the shoes that the president is getting them. Even if they have nicer shoes, shoes that fit, shoes they like, if they've been gifted a pair of these from Donald Trump, they feel like they've got to wear them around. How stupid is that? How stupid. This could have been, in another timeline, kind of a funny story, a quirky story about a president who gives out shoes and people like them. Instead, it's a story about the fear and about the absolute cowardice that has taken over Washington, D.C. Complete cowardice pandemic in the Republican Party of people who wear these things even when they don't fit. So we're delighted to be giving out the Donald J. Trump Soulmate Award, and this is the first of many.